Hi. Um, so this topic's gonna be different today. And I couldn't get like my screen capture to work. Hang on. We're using a different layout today. Let's see. What if I can come on. Come on. Uh no. Static? What? There we go. Now it's working. It just decided not to work for a while. Hang on. Because of it being stinky. And yes, I do want to address this real quick. Uh, I decided, since Opera had an update, to get this up. Hang on. We're gonna put me right here. And then squish. And then squish. But today's gonna be very different because we're talking about a YouTuber named Hyperheims, who is a 143K subbed channel who made this video. And the reason why I'm talking about this video in particular is because uh and it's the reason why I put like hotline, like suicide hotlines in the description of this video. This is going over the, hang on, cords everywhere. This is going over the White Lily cookie fiasco, where Cookie Run Kingdom recently ended Yeast Beast. This fucking vid. Yeah. I complained about this vid to Sheetan and Asanoki P in like a mutual server we all have together. And it's just horrible. And I'll explain why from like a writing and character creation standpoint. But spoilers for the latest and last chapter of Yeast Beast. Trigger warning for talk, mention, and discussions of suicide. All of that. All of the trigger warnings for that and content warnings. Let's get into this. If it'll let me. Playback speed 5 times. Captions. Subtitles. Options. Font color. Green. Some reason this is fighting me today. Oh, there we go. Does it have playback speed? No, playback speed's normal. Let's 1.25. Oh yeah, this is just thrown up. The dude never says it. Disclaimer. If you suffer from any sort of mental illness that gives you any thoughts of self-harm or worse, know that help does exist, and you don't need to keep silent. Even people who look their best on the outside still hide how they truly feel on the inside. 988 and Crisis Lifeline 1-800-273-8255. Don't be afraid to speak to someone. I'm not gonna complain about this because, one, it would be kind of weird if I just nitpick at, like, the disclaimer. I just wish there was, like, more because it doesn't acknowledge, like, the trans suicide hotline. Like, for example, when putting this stream together a few minutes ago, I put in, if you or your loved ones suffer through thoughts of ending things, please reach out to the following hotlines and websites. I put in the 988 Lifeline, the Veterans number, the Trevor Project, and Trans Lifeline, because that's just me. This is the one part I'm going to be charitable to Hyperheims with. Maybe he didn't know about, like, a lot of these other numbers. I'm sorry for bumping the mic. But you still need to kind of make sure all the numbers, as many numbers are in there as possible, because you don't know your audience. Okay, why am I not hearing it? Hang on. Why am I not hearing this? Hang on. I'm checking the sound mixer. Uh, that's odd. Hang on. Trying different headphones. Oh no, I still can't hear it. I can hear myself, but I can't hear. Hang on. What's going on here? We're experiencing technical difficulties. Hang on. I'm gonna switch over to the screen while I troubleshoot this. Will that help? What's going on? Oh, there we go.
Kick you in community.
Fixed it. It was my browser. For some reason, it was muted. There we go.
The past week has been certainly something for the Cookie Run community. If you're unaware, let me give you a quick breakdown as to what's going on in regards to this video. Recently, Cookie Run Kingdom released an update which was meant as an end of an era update, as it marked the end of the Dark Enchantress War, which, for reference, Dark Enchantress Cookie has been the biggest antagonist of Cookie Run Kingdom for over 5 years at this point. The update was called Beyond the Horizon, which was the third part of a 3-part update to mark the end of the Dark Enchantress story. However, after the release of the update, there were a lot of people who complained about certain things about the update. If you do want a quick synopsis of what was wrong with the update, then check out my Did Cookie Run Kingdom Go Too Far? Short. To quickly get out of the way, the biggest issue was that at the
fixed. Yeah, it's fixed. But I do have a problem with this first part, and that is, if you want a synopsis of everything that's wrong with it other than this one part that I'm going to be talking about, please check out my YouTube short, guys. Also, good morning, Zelda. Let me up early. Let me get up early. Oh, Zelda. It is like 1 p.m. my time. Yeah, that's a nitpick I'm gonna have. I get citing yourself with like a YouTube short, but this is a longer video. You kind of need to either have your, like, Did Cookie Run Kingdom Go Too Far video either be a full video where you break it down, or just go, yeah, I made a short about it. It's in the description if you want to see it, but we're talking about this today.
Very end of the story, White Lily Cookie and Dark Enchantress Cookie had one last battle to settle the score. In the end, White Lily Cookie came out on top, thus ending the reign of Dark Enchantress Cookie's tyranny over the Cookie world. However, this did come at a cost. Due to Dark Enchantress Cookie having originally came from White Lily Cookie, this meant that Dark Enchantress Cookie dying also caused White Lily Cookie to die. White Lily Cookie died all in order to protect the Cookie world, thus making the ultimate sacrifice. However,
now, I get that this is a lot, but there's a reason we're talking about this. Because what is being described here isn't gonna be what he's ultimately talking about, or what they're ultimately talking about. I don't know the pronouns, so I don't want to, like, something. So if I'm wrong, please let me know. It's 11 for me, but have been doing late work. The short is supposed to play into the full vid. There's no other way around, Himes. Yeah, especially when what they're talking about here is part of that update.
It truly was a sacrifice, as it made the entire Cookie world safe once again. That is until Shadow Milk Cookie comes back again and ruins everything, because why not, am I right? Now, this is where the video
This fucking twink.
Cookie world safe once
Hang
again.
on.
That is until
I hate that he didn't fucking die. I hate this motherfucker. He's so fucking annoying. I cannot understand why people like him. Bingus. Yes, Bingus. Oh well, I can't get that to move.
Shadow Milk Cookie comes back again and ruins everything, because why not, am I right? Now, this is where the video is going to take a very dark turn, as everyone hated this. Social media has been going crazy over the fact that White Lily Cookie had sacrificed herself. How do I know? Well, I put out this tweet because I was genuinely
Hang on.
has been going crazy over the fact that White Lily Cookie had sacrificed herself.
Over the fact that White Lola Kiki. Who's Lola Kiki? Oh, had sacrificed herself. No, I'm just trying to find the small joys in this video.
How do I know? Well, I put out this tweet because I was genuinely.
By the way, their Twitter's fucking gone. I checked to just like go, hey, Hyperheims, why is my comment gone? Yeah, I've seen this video before. My comment fucking vanished. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you know this because sometimes YouTube likes to be stinky and hides comments. Where did my comment go? Oh, Lola Kiki, she was the best Lola! So, I did finish episode 15 of Yeast Beast, and apparently a lot of people didn't like it. I still won't post anything about it after like a week or something, but I still am curious. He prop hit you. Oh yeah. Sheetan and Asa saw the comment I put in there. I wasn't like trying to be a dick or anything. My comment's just fucking gone. Hang on. Wanna know how I can show that off? Control F. Notice how the only result pops up, and it's for this video by Sheetan, where it's just like a released call, and he like tags me in it. Other than that, nothing pops up. I don't pop up at all. Which is quite an interesting turn of events. But overall, while I am an overall positive person, what exactly was wrong with it? People didn't like it? 71 comments, 64 retweets and quote retweets, 960 likes, 120 bookmarks. Now, he doesn't check this one. He checks the comments. It makes a big deal over the 71 comments, but never talks about checking this. Because what a lot of people will do in response, in like a longer response, will just quote retweet the person.
I'm only curious as to what people were thinking about hating this update. So I did finish episode 15 of Beasties, and apparently a lot of people didn't like it. I still won't post anything about it after like a week or something, but I'm still curious. While I am an overall positive person, what exactly was wrong with it? People didn't like it? This tweet would blow up, at least for my standards, as I wasn't—
yeah, 71 comments is definitely blowing up. Not the 960 likes or the 64 quote retweets and or retweets. No. It's the 71 comments.
Expecting a whopping 71 people to respond, but here's some of the replies that has to do with the situation at hand. Even with the belief that White Lily Kiki would be revived, it doesn't undo the damage of her choosing death as atonement, and the concerning message that it sends. She wants to reunite with her friends, yet she was only given a few words with Pure Vanilla alone as she was passing. Shadow Milk—
Now, I want to bring this up because this is a valid criticism of, yeah, a lot of these are not over the fact that she's dead. It's over the fact that Dev Sisters poorly wrote it. Because, and I think you'll know, and this is for the people who, like, actually played the game, who kind of caught on to these. White Lily Cookie is, like, has, like, a lot of death themes to her story. White lilies are a funeral flower. The chapter of Yeast Beast where Silent Salt Cookie gets introduced, there's a lot of themes of death. Like, ghosts, like, even the skins, if you don't know. Lily Cookie skins. This skin, Veil of Mourning, White Lily Cookie. This is her skin for it. Hang on. But no, don't do that. There we go. Veil of Mourning, White Lily Cookie. The moon is full. There's, like, water here. This is because a lot of this is tied into guest at a funeral. Guest at the funeral. Yes, translate from Korean, please. I cannot read Korean for the life of me. And it's a 2-character skin. And Silent Salt Cookie has the White Bone Knight who guides the dead. This is in reference to Charon, or like the ferryman for the dead. The set is called The Last Mourner. So, yeah. Saint Lily Cookie? Translation's not the greatest, but it's death themes. Like, a lot of death themes. White Lily Cookie costumes. Okay, let's go to the Cookie Run Kingdom. Yeah, this is called Veil of Morning. The thin veil dawn beneath. Continue without sporting. The thin veil drawn beneath the roses embroidered crimson bonnet flutters with each step. The flame of her candle flickers as though desperate to comfort the crumbled. Now, for those who don't know what crumbled is, that's death. When a cookie's like broken apart, it crumbles. So crumbles is dying. Crumbling is dying. And yet, her very heart harbors only stillness in the face of the eternal farewell, for it is merely a new beginning. Her curiosity and anticipation for the world beyond are like a butterfly scattering glimmering powder. With each movement of its wings, the crumbled shall depart, or the dead shall depart, yet the memories will remain. Yeah, the death was foreshadowed in advance for a very long time. Like, where you, like... One of her appearances is this. Like, young White Lily Cookie. And then, when you meet her in the game, her arms are, like, wrapped. Yeah, I think we're all catching, like, the drift. Hang on. Her arms are wrapped here, in this cutscene. But in her, where is her awakened form? Yeah, let's go to the awakened form. Like, notice the skin where, like, you don't see, like, that much of her arms, and it's, like, conveniently covered. I know it's just a crackpot theory, but, it was foreshadowed, my dudes. Sorry, I had to close that.
Sense. She wants to reunite with her friends, yet she was only given a few words with Pure Vanilla alone as she was passing. Shadowmilk's character was assassinated for a Mary Sue, either none or bad character conclusions, making this character happy with their...
Yeah. Making the suicidal characters happy with their deaths. Like, seriously, that's messed up. That's a messed up thing to teach kids. That's because a lot of the main player base are children. And yes, you can have heroic self-sacrifice. You can, like, have a plot where the character just sacrifices themselves. But you gotta recognize that it needs to be handled a lot more gracefully than it was.
Their deaths, like seriously, that's a messed up thing to teach kids, and that's just what I've heard. Lily's death was really unnecessary. She was implied to be and later on she overcomes that. So her sacrificing herself was such a bad writing choice. And then they portrayed it as her being truly free, which felt like a bigger punch in the gut because that goes against what she learned. Because of the whole message that freedom equals death, and the fact that they killed White Lily as a lot of people wanted her to live so she could atone with her life instead of her death. From what I've learned, 1, White Lily's sacrifice means her development was for nothing, and that it conveys a bad message for people. Now, as far as I can tell, all of these—
Yeah, a lot of these criticisms are towards the writing. Like, the writing could have been done a lot better. I'm just saying it was hinted that White Lily Cookie was going to die. A lot. So it really shouldn't have surprised people. However, the way this dude right here, this person right here, handles that is why I'm talking about it.
complaints stem from the same reason. White Lily Cookie dying was bad because she wanted to end her own life because she was and knew that she'd die in the end.
No, that was not what was being said. I had to read out some of the comments. They're not talking about the fact that about the death itself. They're talking about the writing decision of her dying. Like, giving her character development only to kill her off. In a way. Even though it's been hinted. Like, I'm saying her death could have been handled a lot better. That is a shit take. Yeah, this is a shit take. A lot of people are expressing why they don't like the, and you came to the conclusion of White Lily Cookie dying was bad, guys, because she wanted to end her own life because she was suicidal and knew that she'd die in the end. No, what my take on it is, well, her death was necessary to properly bookend Dark Enchantress Cookie because, and this is another thing that kind of hinted that White Lily Cookie was dying regardless and was going to die, is the fact that her life is tethered to Dark Enchantress Cookie. Yes, hi Francis. What the hell is this? We're talking about cookies today. So, instead of like writing about like freedom from destiny for her character arc in the end, you could go with stages of grief, like acceptance, going, yeah, I'm gonna have to make this hard decision for the people I love. But hey, if me dying is what it takes to stop this individual from hurting people, then that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. It could have been gone in that direction. But that's not the synopsis of this video, is it?
Am I the only one who thinks that this doesn't make any sense? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you just
tell all of these complaints stem from the same reason. White Lily Cookie dying was bad because she wanted to end her own life because she was and knew that she'd die in the end. Am I the only one who thinks that this doesn't make any sense? Don't get me wrong, I was just as upset that White Lily Cookie perished, but to say that she was or even that the death was uncalled for, it might be just me missing something. But I don't understand how that makes any sense. Let me break it down for you from my point of view in a few segments. 1. White Lily Cookie did not commit.
This is what's gonna get me to flip out.
There's a difference between and sacrifice. Is where you give up on hope, let your negative emotions get the better of you, and you throw your life away. A sacrifice is where you're willing to risk everything, which includes your own life, for the safety and protection of others. I feel like people forget that Dark Enchantress Cookie could not exist without White Lily Cookie, however the same thing can be said for the other way around. White Lily Cookie knew that if she wanted to defeat Dark Enchantress Cookie, she would have to come to terms that she wouldn't survive. However, she wasn't going to go down without a fight, and at the very least, took down Dark Enchantress Cookie with her. 2. White Lily Cookie was not. There's no doubt that White Lily Cookie was depressed in my eyes, but that doesn't immediately mean that she wanted to end her own life in any means necessary. If she was, then she would have most likely done it way earlier, like falling to the hands of Silent Soul Cookie. However, White Lily Cookie was just depressed primarily out of everything that she's witnessed. She saw the truth of cookies being that they were meant to be eaten, leading to her thinking that they would all be eaten in the end. But this also brought Dark Enchantress Cookie to life, which destroyed the mentality of all of the ancient cookies, all because of White Lily Cookie. You
don't think that's gonna make someone suicidal? I know, I've seen this before. I've made cheating, and Asa, watch this with me. But it still floors me that he's going, oh yeah, White Lily Cookie did not commit suicide. She wasn't suicidal at all. Like, these bitches went to war. What do you think happens in war, Hyper? I'm saying this as if you're even gonna fucking bother watching this. War veterans get PTSD, also known as post-traumatic stress disorder. They went to war. Like, I'm gonna, summarize what he said as this. He doesn't think White Lily Cookie was ever suicidal. Probably because he doesn't. But I'm going to say this. White Lily Cookie found out why cookies were actually made, which led her to believe that cookies would be eaten, fell into despair. Those emotions created Dark Enchantress Cookie, and because of everything Dark Enchantress Cookie goes on to do, it's ultimately White Lily Cookie's fault. Even though she didn't do it on purpose. It broke the trust of her fellow ancient cookies. Meaning, she was ostracized, alone. What do you think happens when vets are alone? I'm gonna let that sink in.
Golden Cheese Cookie has flashbacks of the original Dark Flower War. 3.
Yeah, that's just PTSD. It's dramatic.
It was just bad writing. I'll have to admit that it does seem convoluted, but this resulted in the redemption for not only White Lily Cookie, but also Silent Soul Cookie as well. They've atoned for everything that they've done, being White Lily Cookie causing Dark Enchantress Cookie to emerge, and Silent Soul Cookie falling from grace, slaying the other former Cookies of Virtues by his own hands. Their soul gems would then merge together, paving forth a new Cookie who would be the new embodiment of freedom. Also, they managed to get a hit on Shadow Milk Cookie, who was just losing their mind. I know that, unfortunately, it did result in the other Beast Cookies dying, but we don't know if this will stay true or not, considering that Sugar Swan Cookie was able to revive the other cookies as well. While I can admit that the Beyond the Horizon story definitely has flaws, I didn't think it was actually that bad, to be honest. However, this is not the reason why I'm making this video.
Yeah.
This tweet called...
Yeah, this tweet by a parody account by Dick Daddy 27 on Twitter says, episode 15, so ass. My cousin actually killed herself.
The entire Cookie Run Kingdom community to implode. I know looking at this tweet using some common sense.
No suicide message, and now real families have to live with that, by the way. Honestly, this sounds like a weird acid trip. I don't blame you. And if you notice this is probably the private parody account of this account, Andy Berry.
And you would assume that this tweet was legitimately...
It got 90... Hang on. It got 99 reposts, 301 quotes, 9,566 likes, and 1,564 bookmarks.
Joke. I mean, who would use laughing emojis after mentioning their own family member's death? However, despite this, Twitter just blew...
Okay, while that is a good point, there's also, coping? A lot of people cope differently, and humor is why they cope different. Another thing people use to quote differently. That's why we have so many 9/11 jokes.
Blew up over this tweet. Dev Sisters officially has blood on their hands because of their blatantly pro...
This post is based off a rumor, alleged of an alleged suicide in response to the latest update to Cookie Run Kingdom. The wording of this tweet implies that the devs were directly related to this alleged incident, which is not the case, and this is misleading. You are unable to view this post because the account owner limits who can view their posts.
Message, and now real families have to live with that, by the way. Someone actually killed themselves because of that horrible message they gave. This isn't about the character anymore. Dev sisters seriously need to address this and take responsibility for their horrible writing. Hi guys, I want to say something regarding what's going on with Cookie Run right now. Please read this, it's very important to me at least. Boycott Dev sisters. Do not buy their merch, do not play their games, in fact delete.
Okay, I will say this. Boycotting a game company because of a poor writing decision that led to a alleged suicide. There was like no hardcore evidence other than the one post that the cousin even like killed themselves, but this is like played super seriously. You gotta take what a parody account says with like a grain of salt because you can't really prove anything. You can't prove it's a joke post. And yet everyone went, sisters pushed someone to suicide, when you can't prove that.
Their games from your devices, do not go to fan events, do not buy anything in-game, do not support them, do any more than this if possible. I don't know exactly what, but if you can do something, do it. BC's episode 15 has genuinely made people attempt by giving the message through White Lily that is the way to freedom. For a game with a very...
And I do want to point this out, yet again. I'll watch the VOD while wasted. Okay, Princess. Now, I do want to say this. These are mostly posts written by children, by minors. And you gotta be very careful when talking about subject matters such as this, because you can't prove anything.
Large fan base of mentally ill people, especially ones who relate greatly to White Lily. Sending a message like that is going
to fan base of
send people over the edge.
Mentally ill and suicidal people. Some of these audiences don't have suicide. A lot of them are minors. Minors.
Is going to be the reason people die. It's already happened at least once that I know of, and could happen countless more times. This isn't just the episode being bad now. People have died and made attempts on their lives because of the message Dev Sisters had sent. You cannot simply be okay with this or continue to pretend that there was nothing wrong with the episode. And if you say something like over fictional characters, you are missing the point. People do not kill themselves because of a bad writing or bad story or a bad ending. They do it because of companies sending the message that shows that is the correct answer to already deeply mentally ill people. If you were a person who related to White Lily, loved her as a character, or didn't even like her but still saw the ending, seeing be shown as correct and the only way to freedom can be extremely damaging, especially to younger and more impressionable people. And please remember that is never the...
I never thought I would be engaging with Cookie Run tongue fuckery today. Well, neither did I. I did this at a whim because I really find this to be like bothering me. So you're suffering with me, chat.
Answer, and it will not bring freedom. You are stronger than you think, and there are so many people that care for you, even if you don't know it. There will always be a better answer than death. Poor people who cannot afford to pay for video games are bullied for watching them on YouTube and end up playing free things like Cookie Run and killing themselves over its problematic portrayal of their blood is on your hands, you Twitter elitists. I think it's not only the fact Dev Sisters put a pro message in their game, but also the fact that they put a pro message in their game made for kids. If it was a piece of media for adults, you could chalk it up to mature theming, I guess, but when it's presented to kids, some dumbass is going to respond to this with over a fictional character rather than realizing that stories and their messaging has an effect on the people they're telling it to. The reason we make stories, by the way, and saying people can gain freedom by killing themselves has consequences. Cookie Run Kingdom...
Some of these responses are just very reasonable. Some of them aren't. And you can kind of see that. It's almost like a lot of these could be written by minors. And a lot of everyone involved is just not, recognizing like the possibility that the cousin may have never existed, or that the cousin never said that, or just hyperbole. This is played completely seriously, guys. I would like to inform you of that.
Dev Sisters has been receiving constant backlash because White Lily Cookie's self-sacrifice caused someone to take their own life, and this pissed me off. I've already made a short about this, but do you want to know why I'm so damn pissed about this? It's because that immediately over a tweet that looks as stupid as this, fans of the game immediately want to pin the blame on someone, which is Dev Sisters, and I have no idea why this makes any sense. First of all, I understand that Kikirang Kingdom.
It varies a bit, but the age demographic for this game is usually played by both young and old. Yeah, it's a mixed-aged game.
Is a game that's basically for the ages of everyone 13 plus. I understand that people don't like the portrayal of White Lily Cookie's sacrifice, but if you took a little bit of time to look into this, you would realize that Cookie Run as a series is not hesitant to tackle the topic of death, with the strongest example being Sherbet Cookie within Cookie Run Kingdom's Lantern in the Snow story.
That's not the fucking same!
Should we now boycott Dev Sisters because Cotton Cookie had to watch her dear friend die all for Frost Queen just to say something like, that's a part of nature, or something like that?
That's not the fucking same! That's not the fucking same! One's a suicide, the one is watching your friend die. That is not comparable.
Secondly, if this was such a big problem, do we also have to hate, like, Doki Doki Literature Club because of what they did with Sayori in the game? Or how about any other game that tackles the concept of... Because obviously a self-sacrifice is the same as suicide.
Because obviously a self-sacrifice is the same as suicide. You know what? We're bringing this up. Altruistic suicide is the sacrifice of one's life in order to save or benefit others, for the good of the group, or to preserve the traditions and honor of a society. It is always intentional. Benevolent suicide refers to the self-sacrifice of one's own life for the sake of the greater good. Such a sacrifice may be performed for the sake of executing a particular action, or for the sake of keeping a natural balance in the society. Altruistic suicide was described by Emil Durkheim in his book Suicide, a Study in Sociology, and occurs when social values and interests overwhelm the individual's interest in self-preservation. Altruistic suicide is one of the 4 categories of suicide described by Durkheim, alongside egotistic suicide, fatalistic suicide, and anomic suicide. In contrast, a sacrifice which is committed by the force of a state is referred to as eugenics or mass murder, but may be otherwise referred to as enforced population limits or population control. In literature, examples may promote the concept as a means of ending during types of social conflict, or else deride the concept as an example of a dystopian future society. Self-sacrifice, which is self-denial. Self-denial, but related but different from self-abnegation or self-sacrifice, is an action of letting go of the self, as with altruistic abstinence. The willingness to forego personal pleasures or undergo personal trials in the pursuit of the increased good of another. So let's pop off of this. Altruistic suicide in media. Uh, Columbia University. Suicide and the media. Columbia University. Am I finding it in the hero stories? Durkheim's heroic suicide in military combat. Heroes are born from military combat. The context of battle, with its pressing danger, constant uncertainty, and presence of death, leads some warriors to behave in exceptionally heroic ways. Some of these heroes may even sacrifice their lives to save fellow soldiers, or to allow a combat mission to continue. How can we explain this behavior? Considering what must be involved in such a decision, to decide to give your life so that others may live, what social and emotional dynamics are involved in these heroic acts of self-sacrifice? Who are these special heroes, and what causes them to perform these unique acts of heroism? This study uses Emile Durkheim's classic statement on heroic suicide to better understand actual causes of combat suicide drawn from Congressional Medal of Honor records. The data are consistent with Durkheim's views of this behavior, but a new leadership role dimension provides additional insight into explaining combat suicide. Support is also offered for a neglected social psychological perspective on combat suicide that includes an emotional element present in the social context of these acts of suicide. As part of this general theory of suicide, Durkheim introduced the concept of heroic suicide during his discussion of altruistic suicide, in which he provided a typology of 4 general types of suicide. He related two of the types, fatalistic and anomic suicide, respectively, to an excess or a lack of social regulation. The other 2 types he suggested revealed, and that's just an excerpt. Or am I getting pinged? We're just gonna boop. Close that out. But I read that out because this person never calls what White Lily did a form of suicide at all. To them, it's heroic self-sacrifice and not suicide. When if you looked beyond your bias and beyond the surface of what actually occurred, you would know that it is a suicide. It's a form of sacrificing yourself for the people around you, for a greater good, for an end goal that's more beneficial to the people around you than to you. This person never gets it.
Side, I guess. If I wrote a book where it involved someone taking their own life, would you shun me into silence or even crucify me? And do you know how messed up it is to go as far as to boycott the company over something?
If you wrote about suicide, no one would be mad at you for doing it in the first place. They would only be mad at you if you wrote it poorly. That is the key.
Something like this? Let me ask you something. Someone with mental health issues take their own life after listening to what a character says. Do you know what that's called? Because I'll give you a hint, it happened around 2 years ago with Character.ai when a person by the name of Siwo Seltzer III, a 14-year-old, took their own life because they roleplayed with a Character.ai bot. However, from what was researched, it was because of his mental health that happened to be deteriorating.
YouTube asked me, need help, you're not alone. Hi there. Hang on. I'm gonna read this out. Hi there, we're reaching out because members of the YouTube community, fellow creators, viewers, or staff have expressed concern over your safety or well-being after coming across content you posted with topics related to suicide, self-harm, or eating disorders. The video, YouTube, I don't want to end my life. I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate the concern from everyone around me in regards to it, but I don't want to end my life currently. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not struggling with a lot of stuff right now. I'm just talking about poor writing and someone not taking a topic seriously. I do think it's funny that, like, YouTube just emailed me that. Hang on. Hang on. Oh my god. Let me just. Oh my gosh. Okay, I never expected that. Hang on. I'm just gonna screenshot this. Nice to know, like, YouTube is diligent about it and isn't, like, taking me down. I'm not. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I will say this a billion times, and if I'm not okay, I will, like, say it. Like, I will say, hey, I'm not feeling well, there's gonna be no stream. Yeah, I think that's fucking funny. But in a good way, not in a mean way. Because I appreciate, like, YouTube being diligent about things like that, and it's not, like, trying to punish me. I'm just not, censoring my words today, even though I should have, like, done so. A little bit. I am okay. I am okay. What is my cats doing? I did send that to myself because I am gonna make a post going, YouTube is so nice. Hang on, I'm actually gonna do that right now. And I think that's just sweet. Hang on. Let me flip this back over. I'm gonna show you while I'm all writing. During stream, while talking about the Hyperheim stuff, YouTube sent me this email. In case anyone is worried, no, I am not currently thinking about hurting myself. However, I appreciate the concern. I think that's sweet. I think that's incredibly sweet of YouTube to just be worried about that. I'm not thinking about hurting myself currently. I'm just talking about this serious topic. Anyway, back to topic.
Rating for the last 10 months of his life before he ended it all. So, is it the fictional character's fault? Or is it the person with mental illness's fault? The answer should be really obvious. I'm not trying to diss on anyone.
None of them. Sorry. Neither party is at fault. The fictional character is a fictional character. They can't really influence you to do a lot of things. Neither's the mentally ill person who's going through these thoughts. But a lot of the language in regards to this topic is really disgusting. Never knew YouTube cared more than Twitch. Yeah, apparently I must have triggered something with YouTube's AI moderation thing. So that's why I'm going, hi, no, I'm not currently thinking about hurting myself. We're just talking about a serious topic. Help. But it is sweet. It's sad that, like, Twitch doesn't seemingly do it. I don't really stream on Twitch all that much, so I wouldn't know. This guy seems very insensitive, very inappropriate. Yeah, that is the synopsis of it. He is very insensitive to such a serious topic, especially when, and I don't know how long you've been here, Maho, but he's treating this topic very seriously when, hang on. 910. This is the tweet. You can't really prove that this actually happened or not. But what you can do, Twitch is slow. Hence why I never got a warning for showing boobs on stream that time. I just joined. Yeah, okay. This is the tweet that's being referred to when, in regards to, like, someone actually taking their lives. This tweet is cited, and there is, like, another tweet later on, but this is the one that, Hyperheims, the person who made this video, like, cites for the beginning of this. So, let's get back to,
Trying to diss on anyone who has any sort of mental illness. But do any of you even remember what mental illness means? It means you're mentally ill. You will take.
I don't like the direction this video goes. Because while it's technically classified as a mental illness, what this person is doing is just, like, blanket sweeping this for a company that does not give a damn about him or give a damn about them. It just looks like in poor taste. Yeah, this entire video is in poor taste when it's talking about a serious topic. And it looks like they just Googled this and like screenshotted the first result. Mental illness refers to diagnosable, treatable conditions that significantly affect a person's thinking, emotional state, mood, and behavior. These disorders disrupt daily functioning, such as working, socializing, or coping with stress, and differ from temporary reactions to stress by their intensity and duration. Key aspects of mental illness. We're going to go to types and examples. Common examples include depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and eating disorders. Especially with using a stupid little PNG tuber for a serious topic. The reason why I am even using a PNG tuber for this is because it allows you to, like, it's for both some levity, but you can also, like, see me right on screen. That way it's just not a boring thing. Like the transformative stuff, because a lot of people who get, like, their videos reacted on don't, like, handle criticism well and tend to copyright strike. Right? You're not the one who made the video. You're fine. I know. It's just, yeah. And I'm going to be very serious, and I'm going to be a lot more, I'm going to be a lot more open about this, but I do have depression. I've tried to hurt myself a few times. Not recently, thank God, but I try to not hurt myself a lot more, because it is a very serious thing that I'm doing. And one thing I do that, like, leaves actual scars on my body is pain stimming, which is a form of stimming that is not great. What I recommend, instead of, like, picking at yourself like I do, is getting a little ouchies. That way you get, like, that pain sensory without hurting yourself. And the reason why I'm recommending that instead of what this person's not gonna, like, say, like, this person's not gonna say it, because that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is he's defending poorly written self-sacrifice. I swear. Okay. That's on another email from YouTube. Thank goodness. And I gotta be very careful with the fact that I'm talking about this, because I don't want someone to end up hurting themselves, which is why I made the disclaimer at the beginning, even though it's brief, why there's numbers in the description, all that, because, yeah, help is always available. Help is never going to close its door to you, okay? I'm going to just end that there.
Take things to heart and not take another moment to consider them. How can someone else's mental illness have the blame pinned to a game that they enjoyed? If you have mental illness, then you need to seek help from a real professional, not text on the screen from a character that's not even real. Are you going to take—
I'm too tired to understand this. I'll just rewatch the VOD in the morning if you don't get it pulled down. I have no intentions of pulling it down. I hope it stays up. I hope it stays up. Please stay up.
Time travel because of Timekeeper Cookie? How about destroying everything to get what you want like Dark Enchantress Cookie? Why not attempt to assassinate a leader like Affogato Cookie? Oh, but apparently none of—
We're just gonna play that back. What did you say there?
Everything to get what you want like Dark Enchantress Cookie. Why not attempt to assassinate a leader like Affogato Cookie?
No one's doing that. No one's going to, like, assassinate a political leader because of a cookie. I mean, there's been, like, very crazy reasons for that, but a lot of the time it happens. We're not condoning that. YouTube doesn't seem strict, so it should be fine. Magandang gabi. The only thing that's getting pulled. Grab something real quick. Oh, that just took me out. No, I need gas. I need gas. Oh. Good night in Tagalog. It's good night in Tagalog. Okay. Good night, Mahal. I mean, we did have a shooter who thought their death would be the only thing to join Ember. Yeah, and that's because that person had a mental illness. I know who you're talking about, Jack of Slaves. And that person's mentally not well. But there's a difference between that and what is alleged to have happened. And the fact that this was made in such incredibly poor taste, demonize mental illnesses and different conditions one can have. And then making like offhand comments like this is very distasteful. It's very disrespectful, and it's abhorrent. I'm not gonna mince my words with these. This has made me, like, rightfully upset.
Oh, but apparently none of those count because it's ridiculous! Like this wasn't ridiculous enough. It wasn't until a day or two passed that people started understanding why this logic of reasoning made no sense. Make a game about cookie characters. Story leads to confrontation with villainous character. Cookie character sacrifices herself to save the day and protect her friends. Fans see self-sacrifice and commit... Fans blame you. No, the devs do not need to take responsibility for their horrible writing. What needs to happen is that you people who take a video game...
I don't like this person. Whoever Unhinged fandom archive is, I hate you. Go away. Because, yes, you can hold game devs accountable for poor writing. That's what you should do as the consumer, is to hold the person who made the thing you're consuming accountable. Even if other people don't like that. And I'm respecting everyone's decision whether or not they want to boycott Dev Sisters or not. For me, I'm pissed at Dev Sisters for a completely different thing. But I also thought the White Lily Cookie storyline ending was actually horrible. Like, there were ways to, like, write the eventual self-sacrifice without giving people false hope.
about Cookie seriously need to actually step away. My heart goes out to the minor, but y'all need to actually step away from the game. Developers and authors should not be responsible for their audience's mental health. The parents and their health advisors should.
And here it is. Fan account. I should have explained why my cousin killed herself. It's because of the messaging of White Lily Cookie's death. Her death was painted as true freedom, and that suicide is the only way to freedom. My cousin has depression and is a White Lily Cookie kid. So, she was heavily affected by this. By the way, to kin is to closely relate to a character. Heroic sacrifice is well known. Whoever wrote this needs to actually look at what heroic sacrifice actually is. Because whoever put this reader's context, this community note, needs to learn the difference between self-sacrifice in Disney movies and what's going on here.
People are talking about how it's cool to joke about a kid offing themselves over Cookie Run Kingdom's glorifying and saying that they are heartbroken for the person. Meanwhile, the Ground Zero tweet is F15 so my cousin actually killed herself. Our brains are shrinking. You really want to live in a world where artists have to create works of fiction knowing they'll be held accountable for the way any given mentally unstable person reacts to it? How is Dev Sisters and Cookie Run Kingdom to blame for the death of someone because of a story that they decide to tell in their own way?
Just like how one of your examples, being character AI, was just as culpable for that minor's death that you chose to bring up. Granted, you should be able to write what you wish into a story. Let's not mince words. However, there's a difference between bad writing and good writing.
White Lily Cookie would not have wanted any of this. You know what White Lily Cookie would want you to do?
Nope, 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 nope. You going on this, how many seconds before this? This 10 minute, 40 something minute rant, 40 something second rant about this, where you disrespected a possibly dead child. Where you talk down about people who end up hurting themselves in such a way. You dumbed down everything. Why Dev, and said, oh, Dev Sisters should be held accountable. But then you turn around and go, what, you know, White Lily would not want you to do this. What would White Lily do? Yeah, they had a bunch of mental problems, but most just look for the easiest thing to go on. To go on is where I was going with the Randy part. I know. You're okay, Mr. Gamer. No, not you're okay, Jack Slides. Sorry, I saw Mr. Gamer, and he's like usually here. But like the issue with this topic, with how this person handled this specific topic, because there's some good criticism to be had over what Dev Sisters ended up creating. And how it ultimately hurts someone, even if it's not the intention of the developers themselves. However, Hyperheims is trying to take the accountability away from Dev Sisters. Glazing Dev Sisters. And either knowingly or unknowingly demonizing an entire subcategory of the player base who were seriously hurt by this update.
She would want you to fight for what you believe in, making sure that you do whatever you can in hopes that you can create a better future for not only yourself, but for everyone else. Is never the answer for this. Also, I do want to go off script for a moment, saying that someone did DM me telling me about how there may have
This DM I got, they wanted to remain anonymous. Actually gave me more details on the situation too. Hey Himes, ended up watching the short you recently uploaded about the situation with White Lily. I just want to say, although I can say it can be appreciated of the reality check to give some people, unfortunately, there has been those that ended up essentially joking about the victim deserving what they went through. Soured my own friend who is mutuals with the cousin of the victim, who, while I can 100% get the update not being fully in Dev Sister's hands, it also shouldn't get to the point people are justified in chasing people to the point of harassment, because nobody is actually entitled to people's personal lives. Just wanted to share this, and frankly, if this does end up getting shared in a long form video, I'd rather stay anonymous. Emoji. Understood. By the way, I want to say a few extra things. Point 1. I do hope the longer video is published rather than another short published, because it's more deeper than it is. The person who allegedly took their own life was actually a White Lilykin and 13 years old, rather than 15 years old. A kin in this sense is someone who related too much on being a fictional character. Keep your own opinions about that aside, when I'm pretty sure it's more important to highlight the victim was straight up having problems with that strangers aren't entitled to know. Yes, Stepsisters isn't responsible for what others do, but they could have at least put a content warning for the beginning for that episode, rather than shoving this entire situation as, guys, it's the parents' fault. During this entire period of time, people have been outright sending death threats and other stuff, like prying into further information for the victim's passing, because the cousin of the victim totally is in the right of doxing their personal information to several strangers. Sarcasm, by the way. By the way, saying how they were coping through humor means they are less of a person, etc. On top of even the same mutual, I've ended up being straight up disrespectful because they were also mourning while defending the last of the affected's dignity, because people are outright vile. Like Himes. Like Himes here. Let's not mince words. Being a fictional character, because they were also... And a little too loud on my end. Yeah. And I wonder why the person wanted to be so anonymous. Maybe because they didn't want to be tied back to this garbage video. Huh. 3/18/2026. So the 18th, when was this video published? 21st. So 18, 19, 20, 21. 3 days before this video was even uploaded. This was sent to them.
Even some people who actually made fun of the person who allegedly killed themselves, and let me just mention this for a fact. Never do that. That's disrespectful, that's degrading, and it's genuinely an awful thing for any person to do. To get real for a moment, while I'm not going to go into many details about this, I once knew any sort of mental issues or just feel down about because of it. But please, if you have any thoughts of depression, any sort of mental issues, or just feel down in general, then don't hesitate to talk to someone about it. Talk to any sort of friends that you have, family who sits close by you, even people within other communities who can relate to your issues, and even if they can't, would still be open to hear you out. It does not matter who you are. Male, female, black, white, religious, it doesn't matter. We're all part of the human race, and we all need to take care of each other, because we're all that we have. No matter how far people may seem away from you, you may be closer to more people than you realize. We shouldn't cause this community to crumble over something akin to this. We all need to mourn and move on. However, we all need a very big lesson to think before we speak. If someone did end up taking their own life because of the story, then it's going to be tragic. However, it'll still be their call at the end of the day. However, like I said, do not be afraid to reach out to someone if you feel like you.
I'm going to say this as calmly as I can. Saying this.
Lesson to think before we speak. If
very big lesson about thinking before we speak.
someone did end up taking their own life because of the story, then it's going to be tragic. However, it'll still be their call at the end of the day.
It is still their call at the end of the day. The video of this Times guy is like, what the actual fuck? Yeah, SFTW. TDW. Because, and I'm saying this as someone who has had thoughts of hurting myself, who has actually tried in the past, who does that. You don't say this because just being there helps. Talking to people helps, but that's only half of the treatment. That's half of a solution to a major problem. Not every person is going to do it for the same reasons. And I'm just going off my feelings. Real, I do agree you can hold creatives accountable for bad writing. Yes, and that should have been the take to have. Because while Dev Sisters was not intentionally putting out that message, they still should be held accountable. Because harm happens regardless of intention. And hold them accountable if the way they wrote it promotes harmful things. Exactly. You got to be very careful with what you write because you don't know your audience. You don't know who's going to end up seeing it. And the fact that from all the circumstantial evidence that we've seen, I'm not asking for more about the dead child. I'm just saying, hey, grain of salt, you don't know if this is actually real or not. The fact that a 13-year-old hurt themselves because of a poorly written story, that is an example of fiction affecting reality. And as like the cousin being talked about here states, the 13-year-old had depression. The 13-year-old was also a white lilykin. So, and I'm trying to explain this as best as I can. What I can see probably have happened is that this 13-year-old played through the episode 15 of Yeast Beast, and they were triggered by White Lily Cookie's death into trying to do the same thing. And I don't know if it's successful or not. I hope it's not successful. But if it was, my heart goes out to the victim and their family. However, Himes should not have put out this video. Himes should have never put out this video, because what ended up being conveyed is more harmful than anything Dev Sisters could end up doing now. That is because when you look at what Dev Sisters did, you can tell they weren't being malicious. They were just trying to bookend a story they've been working on. Hyperhimes comes off incredibly malicious, and knowingly so. They're being performative. This is performance. And saying it, oh, it's their call when someone hurts themselves. No, that's not. They're trying to get the pain to end. That's what you're not getting. When people hurt themselves in that way, it is never an act of selfishness. They just want the pain to end.
However, like I said, do not be afraid to reach out to someone if you feel like you need it. You only have one chance at living your best life, and it's not going to last forever. So please, don't just strip yourself away from the beauty.
A problem with part of this statement is you don't know if this child even had anyone to go to. You don't. So you can't really be saying that.
That this world has to offer. You can imagine your own stories, explore communities that you may love, explore landscapes if you're feeling adventurous, or even find a soulmate that you'd do anything for, and that you'd want to make sure that you fight for a brighter future for the people that you love. But always remember, and I'm hoping that this sticks with everyone who watches this video, life is a gift, and it needs to be cherished.
Not everyone's gonna have the same outlook. And it ends after this monologue, it ends in this corny fucking way. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pop off a lot more than I have already. This corny outro played at the end of a very serious video is like another form of disrespect. It's disrespectful to the people watching this to just bookend it like that. This has 20k likes, by the way. White Lily Cookie wants you to shut your bitch ass up, Himes. Exactly. Hyper Himes is rated PG-13 channel that offers his viewers a ton of content to watch. Why do we get a Hallmark ending? Thank you for making this video. My condolences to the kid. Prayer hand emoji, prayer hand emoji, prayer hand emoji. Some of you guys are old enough to be watching cartoons, I swear to God. Gooseworks. Do not quote Gooseworks. We want complex character fandom when the character in question doesn't have a sugar-coated, pure Deus Ex Machina happy ending. Every single fandom I'm in is a mess. Can we please normalize not harassing a dev team for the action of someone else? Pay attention to once he's watching. This one that says, can we please normalize not harassing a dev team for the actions of someone else that they have no control over? I legit saw someone wishing that everyone at Dev Sisters to suffer eternal suffering in hell, which is so hypocritical that I can't even fathom the mind off these people. And them also just trying to dig up anything to give a valid reason to harass Dev Sisters. Legit saw some say Dev Sisters is problematic for releasing bomb-themed characters during Ramadan. Like, those have any correlation to each other? Yeah, that is kind of tasteless. Maybe don't, like, have any bomb-themed characters released during Ramadan. Like, pay attention to the calendar. Harsh criticism of Dev Sisters equal harassment. Also, authors do have control over their writing. Yes. For the last, freaking time, since when? Since when did the word sacrifice was... You can tell these are kids. You can tell these are kids. Another one. As someone who used to be suicidal, I believe that DevSys or the mentally ill minor should not be blamed at all for their suicide, but instead blame their family. Yes, blame the family who probably didn't know the kid was going to hurt themselves. Yeah, let's blame the family, guys. By the way, this whole thing, liked by Hyperheims. Media literacy has gone to the worst thing a fandom can be cursed with. Edit. I mean no harm to the kid. My deepest condolences go out to their family and friends. Liked by Hyperheims. I'm a former psych patient. Okay. I've been suffering since childhood. This is also liked by Hyperheims. And then it goes on and on and on. So there's more examples of this. Like, there's more about, like, the update to criticize. Hang on. I'm going to see if I can pull that up. Here.
Recently, we were given the final. Did Cookie Run Kingdom go too far? Recently, we were given the.
And
Did Cookie Run Kingdom go too far? Recently, we were given the final update in regards to Cookie Run Kingdom's Dark Enchantress Cookie War being beyond the horizon, and I think now is a good enough time to talk about it. However, I noticed that for some reason, people really didn't like the story. I was so invested that I made a tweet asking why it was so bad, and while I was expecting a few replies, I wasn't expecting over 70 of them. One issue is the fact that it seemed like there was a lot of storylines cut short.
yeah, right here. My only issue, TBH, was that there was so many storylines that are kind of cut short. / we don't know what's happening with Pavlova Cookie, Pitaya Cookie, Salt Cellar Cookie, Red Velvet Cookie, Hollyberry X Eternal Sugar Cookie, Doomed Yuri for Real, the Fairy Cookies, etc. I wish we got to see more of them.
Like stuff with Pavlova Cookie, where
Valid criticism.
Pitaya Dragon Cookie ended up, and more things. Another issue is that they
nerfed Timekeeper Cookie. That's a very red line for me. If they keep buffing Shadow Milk so he can have more screen time, I'll genuinely drop the game. The only reason I started playing Cookie Run Kingdom is so I can save up for Timekeeper Cookie. Future update. and I can be one of the first to get them.
A Timekeeper cookie look weak against Shadow Milk Cookie's new form. Also, an issue that I personally
I have only one real problem with it. That is the fact Black Sugar Swan. The Black Sugar Swan Sweam we've already have established character in Cookie Run King in Oven Break by the same name.
agree with is the fact that they seemingly merged Sugar Swan and Black Sugar Swan despite her being a separate cookie in Cookie Run Oven Break. And who can forget the most controversial thing about this update? White Lily Cookie's death. I do admit that they're all fair criticisms, but here's one thing that we have to keep in mind. The saga of VCDs just ended, and we have to do the one painful thing we all hate doing. Wait. The Cookie Run Kingdom roadmap ended with this story, and while none of us know what'll happen next, we just need to keep our heads held high. One thing that we have to keep in mind. The saga of VCDs just ended, and we have to do the one painful thing we all hate doing. Wait. The Cookie Run...
Okay. This is the roadmap. All-in-one legendary draw. Boss Rush, My Cookie Adventure, Affinity System, new episode 15, Dark Witch Enchantress Cookie, legendary skin, one new cookie. They released Sugar Swan cookies, so we're at the end of this roadmap.
Kingdom roadmap ended with this story, and while none of us know what'll happen next, we just need to keep our heads held high and keep moving forward. I personally believe the next update will be a post-war update that should hopefully tie up any loose ends. Besides, it was confirmed that Timekeeper Cookie would be revealed in May. Between this update and May, there's still the entirety of April.
What we're essentially being told here is to wait for the new update in May. Wait for the new update in May. Yes, you're gonna have to wait 2 months for it, but you gotta wait for the new update in May, guys. Not addressing the actual bad writing choice here. The bad writing decisions for the latest update. I'm being pinged somewhere. Hang on. People shouldn't have to be told to wait because they have rightful criticisms over a poorly written story. They shouldn't have to wait in regards to their criticisms of an update a lot of people don't like. Some people do like it. Good for them. Shout out to you. Good job. You're able to like something a lot of people don't like, and that is cool. One thing I will say is, I didn't like the story thing. And here's the thing. I can tell that it's bad writing. I write fan fiction on the side. I'm working on my own, unique original projects on the side. This is just terrible writing. And you can kind of tell his thoughts right here.
April to see what happens. What do you think will be the future of Cookie Run Kingdom?
And here's the thing. He's purposely marketing himself to a younger audience. Rated PG-13. You gotta be very careful with what you write about, what you typically just go on about. Because a lot of these decisions could end up hurting someone. And I hate that people are taking White Lily's sacrifice and dumbing down to something into something completely different. They're trying to put this degree of sorry. They're trying to put this degree of separation between. They keep calling it self-sacrifice or sacrificial death when it's a suicide. You can't change the meaning of a word just to suit what you want to believe. Because that's just talking down to the people around you and the people who watch your stuff. Just to bookmark this because I have to get ready for work later. This was barely planned. But this could have been done a whole lot better. My criticism for Dev Sisters is that the writing should have been better. I'm not saying, oh, White Lily Cookie shouldn't have died. I'm saying write it better. Because you don't give people, like, a character of freedom just to have them, like, sacrifice themselves. That's sending a very particular message that isn't really good. That death is freedom. And that if you sacrifice yourself, you will achieve freedom. That is I don't know if that's like the intentional message, but I don't believe it is. I believe they really screwed up and should probably work on that. As for Hyperheims, I'm sorry, I think this dude's malicious. And the fact that their Twitter is gone, by the way. Hang on. Oh no, that's TikTok. That's wrong thing. Wrong T. Wrong T. This account doesn't exist. You know what? I'm just gonna check something real quick. No, this one. There we go. Oh, no. Is this? Hold on. This sounds awfully familiar. Hang on. I really hope this person isn't quoting who I think there are. I, Hyperheims, humbly submit a toast to the Cookie Run YouTuber Chirao for successfully managing to modify Cookie Run Kingdom so that he may play White Lily Cookie. Congratulations, Chirao. Enjoy your ancient. Wait a minute! Hang on. This sounds a lot like I need to check this. Hang on.
I, Eva X, humbly submit a toast to Nicholas Alexander for successfully managing to pirate Warcraft 3 so that he may play Defense of the Ancients. Congratulations, Nick. Enjoy your Dota.
Why are you quoting a groomer? I'm sorry. You just quoted a groomer. For those who don't know what Yandere Dev did, hang on. You know, let's go with Moist Critical. Charlie! Charlie!
In my arm, you got me in a Alright, fine, you just keep twisting my arm, you got me in a full Nelson here, demanding that I speak about this situation, so you know what? I'll do it. Yandere Dev. A very infamous name on the internet. He is responsible for the game Yandere Simulator that might ring some bells or pour some salt into an old wound if you've been around the YouTube Let's Play scene for a while. This is a game that blew up online because some of the biggest channels on the platform played it. In a nutshell, the game is basically Naughty Bear, but set in a Japanese high school. You just assassinate a bunch of high school girls, and it promised unlimited features. This game was basically going to be Life 2. Yandere Dev's ambition was unlike anything in the world. He was like a black...
By the way, it's taken Yandere Dev, 10 years? And all we have for Yandere Simulator is a demo.
A lot of people and achieved the status of a lolcow. I'm not here to just like go down memory lane with every controversy and everything that's happened along the journey, but it's important to set the stage here for what's currently going on with Yandere Dev. So over the course of 8 years, everyone has paid attention to every single minute that this guy has broadcast his life online, as well as the way he conducts himself with his fans, and it's led to a lot of less than savory things being revealed. And this past week has been the worst week for him when a lot of screenshots came out from Snapchat conversations, as well as some other very serious allegations levied against him, all hit the public eye. So this one here has been making the rounds. You're the one traumatizing me. That's allegedly Yandere Dev, cosplay fan. And they say, I'm sorry. And then he goes, this here is trauma. This is abuse. This is power imbalance. I'm being emotionally abused by you. To which they respond, I'm 16. And then he goes, you have this massive blackmail over me. You're 35. And when I first saw this, it gave me a hearty belly laugh like Santa Claus. What an unbelievably creepy, concerning exchange. Now, he has made a response to all of this, saying, you know, it's unwise choices he's been making as a result of deteriorating mental health over the years. And he is owning up to him being responsible for these things. Like, he's not trying to say, it's deep faked, this is all, you know, a deep state operation to frame him because big AAA titles are afraid of Yandere Simulator being released. He's not going with any of those angles. He's not, you know, trying to make it sound like all of this is, you know, a lie. He is owning up to it. But it's not like that makes it any better. This is still some predatory, disgusting behavior that rightfully got him a lot of shit tossed his way for all of it. There was a lot more that came out of it, but I just wanted to highlight that one off rip just because of...
And that's all we're going into. You know what? Live right now. Wait a minute, this is like from 2023. When was this? 2 years ago. Oh no! 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 Oh, Charlie's video! 2023! Hang on! 2023, 2023, 2023, 2024. This was being talked about for like a couple years. It is impossible for you not to know about this. Like, what the fuck? Alex also had the minor write his response for him and nitpick what he did and did not like in it. Oh my god! And I was just searching up White Lily Cookie. Okay, let's go to latest. Oh yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting meme. Let's have Red Velvet Cookie just fucking kidnap a child. What even is this? Live streams. Oh, that's kind of sad right there. That's kind of sad. Hope it comes true. Hyperheim's wish. I wish to get something that's freshly autographed from you, DJ Mia, yourself. It'd be such an honor. He says, I wish it comes true. Go. May 24th, so this is just a couple days ago. CG5 song. What is this? This is from the 23rd. Got pinged in a tweet about my White Lily Cookie video. Someone came in contact with someone who didn't like some of the things that I've said in this video, and thought it was necessary to put this here. I don't want this to get any worse than it already has. And this says, yeah, of course, it was my intention to use my video. It wasn't my intention to use my video as a means of harm. It was more or less a way to talk about a topic that I thought was going too far. If you can forward this to Andy, the victim's cousin, Andy? Then let him know this. I am genuinely sorry for my words, for how my words were presented in this video. I am truly sorry for the loss of your cousin, and hope that you can become stronger because of this situation. I know what it's like to lose family. And it would not be good for anyone involved. I didn't mean for it to be insulting to you or anyone that you know. I was very angry at the situation, and I didn't want people looking at a certain fandom and masking them as something like, oh, this fandom did this bad thing, and that's all they'd remember for. They're remembered for. I've seen that happen, and I don't want that. However, I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to apologize. I truly mean it when I say I'm sorry, and I hope that you don't look at me as someone who's spiteful towards you. Ugh. If you choose to look at me like that, then I can't do anything to stop you. However, be sure to at least know that I want to try and make this world a better place through my content. What? I know a simple apology can't fix the message that I've sent out, but I still feel like this needed to be said, no matter what. So you're not sorry. So you're not sorry. Grapevine Cookie. What a load of disingenuous bullshit. It's very clear from your video that you know nothing about mental illness, and you should have never opened your mouth about it. And for you to then apologize on Twitter for the video while leaving it up on YouTube is just so fucking typical. If I were to delete the video, that won't undo the damage that's been done. Even if I did, there's no doubt someone would re-upload it. You address why you took it down then. So, it would show that you disagree with the past you. And also stop it from doing more harm. Like, right now, it's still being sent out. It's still being sent out to people causing harm, and if some rando is gonna re-upload it, it's undoubtedly gonna cause less harm than if you leave the video up. It may not undo the damage, but it will certainly give peace for Andy and his cousin. He would have wanted this to die down until it's safe enough for him to go back to Twitter again. And for the case of re-uploaders, they'd most likely want to stir more trouble, but at least you'd choose to give peace. I want to see what the quote retweets are. View quotes. No quotes. I'm on the side of the victim not fucking forgiving you. Your video ended up hurting Andy and his cousin more. It ended up hurting the victim and their family more. And you know it. But you don't want to take down the video because you're making money off of it. That's the only reason why someone as cowardly as you would just not take down the freaking video. That's why you're still getting comments. Hang on. We're gonna go back to your fucking video. We're gonna look at how recent those comments on that video is. There we go. I don't need the video up. I just need the comments. Load. 5 days ago. 3 days ago. 2 days ago. When was this tweet made? March 21st. This video was put up March 21st. You had from the 21st up until today to take this video down. And as of 2 days ago, you're still liking these comments. Just say you want the fucking money. Just say you don't give a damn about a child who allegedly ended their own life. No, what you care about is the almighty dollar. I used to keep up with Yondev and had the misfortune of reading his Soul Calibur fan fiction. And me. But, like, does anyone disagree with me that the only, like, real reason that Hyperheims did not take this fucking video down is the fact that they're probably making money off of it? We're gonna sort by newest. 5 days ago? 6 minutes ago. 9 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. 19 minutes ago. 23 minutes ago. 38 minutes ago, 56 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 1 hour ago, 2 hours 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 ago, 3 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 5 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, 9 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours, 11 hours, 13 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours, 17 hours. Like, it's still being updated. I don't know why I'm the only person talking about this. Hang on. Hyperheim's drama. There's barely any like Hyperheim stuff. I don't know what this is. Roblox. Yeah, I'm one of the only people talking about this particular situation. Why? Why do I have to be like the one person to speak up about this? There's an entire community of Cookie Run creators who can talk about this. I just turned back in. What's going on? Apparently, Hyperheim's got his shit rocked because he ended up hurting the victim and the victim's family. And there's more comments. I suggest privating the video. I get you probably made a lot of money from it, but it still puts Andy in danger. Even if he left Twitter, many have impersonated Andy on here and on other socials. This video just makes people hate him even more. He doesn't need to deal with this. You should address the fact that the people on your short you have posted have been getting harassed as well. Please be more responsible, because sending your fan base to minors to harass them isn't good. And be cautious of what you say. There's a victim in all this? Yeah, there is a victim. Andy and his cousin, who was 13. Happy divorce. W reply from them, you deserve it, Lamau. Let's go to this one because I see someone replied here. I agree. Andy did nothing wrong, and he's still getting harmed over nothing. And this video was just cherry on top. I literally argued with a guy, more like they're obsessed with me, for hours. And in question, that was an adult. Radio fucking silence. Except for this person, who rightfully rocked his shit. He got his shit rocked. I'm arguing not rocked enough. I don't know Andy or his cousin, but that doesn't mean I can't be mad for them. They're kids that didn't do anything wrong. And this 25-year-old, yeah, I didn't miss that shit. How many plebs? 25 male by YouTube. He's 25. Doing this shit to kids. $1,652 followers. I don't want you to go after this guy. I'm gonna say this now for anyone in my audience gets any ideas. Do not touch this guy. What I am going to say is spread this stream around anywhere you can. Because no, this guy should not get away with that. That's despicable. That's disgusting. It's abhorrent. It's vile. We're just gonna calm down real quick, okay? We're just gonna calm down. I'm going to go and put up the baby sensory video. I'm going to, a shitty loop. We're getting a baby sensory video. I will be right back. I will be able to see your comments though, so behave. Okay, I'm back. Apparently someone called me while I was gone. Oh, it's a number I don't care about. Uh, what we're going to do, since we did kind of touch upon a heavy topic, is in my server, we're going to do a magma night to just kind of decompress from everything, uh, have fun, just like enjoy each other. And just kind of decompress from today. I know I want to enjoy something after work. So what we're going to do is I'm going to schedule Magma Night. Hang on. I can't show you guys what's going on, so have some kitties. Might as well do it in the regular browser. Hang on. Uh, hey, event. Start event. Let's see. Since I work until like late, we're gonna go with 9 p.m. CST. It does not repeat. Uh, okay, there we go. Next. Create event. Okay, now the event is created. Even has a link in there. That's good. That's good. Sorry. Oh, I think I did a wrong thing. Hang on. Cancel. Create an art space. What did I do? Your canvas. Landscape. Okay, so I did mess up. Hang on. Delete tab. Yes, I am old. Okay, we're just gonna go with this instead. I'm just gonna do this invite to draw at an event. Boop. Go. Next. Save event. There we go. And then that should lead to no. Okay, I have that set up for later. I think, hang on. I think we can end this here. And I would like to say thank you everyone for coming, even though this was like not like a great stream. I'm still gonna say thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around, even with a topic as serious as this, even though it involves cookies and Cookie Run Kingdom. But next stream we're doing a Smasher Pass, which it will be on April 2nd, which is Thursday next week. Meaning, if you want to, you can submit, like, there was a Twitter post. I need to grab it and put it in chat. But if you haven't already, it's over on Twitter. Let me grab that real quick. Might as well check this too. Okay, bookmarks. I made sure I don't lose it. Oh, here it is. Like in a new tab. Okay, let me head back to this. Wrong thing. Because I decided not to do that. Audience submissions welcome for the Smasher Pass stream I'm doing with Jack, Grunge Buddy VT. where we will smash or pass your submissions. Submissions end April 2nd. So look for this tweet. But other than that, thank you for coming. I'll see you April 2nd. Bye.